If you've been watching YouTube in the watch space for the past year or two, you would probably be under the impression that Rolex watches are being given away free in cornflakes boxes at this point.
I'm telling you, they're everywhere.
Look, Abby, they're everywhere.
And authorized dealers are chasing people down the street, begging them to buy.
Please come back to me. I'll do anything.
Please come back in.
I don't know how you've been so easily deceived. Honestly, in the end, it comes down to the YouTubers. So many of them looking for those clicks, looking for that hysteria click. Oh my God, the market is dead, and the red line going down with the arrow across the thumbnail. I've been sitting back here watching it from afar, and it's been pretty ugly. Listen, guys, it comes down to this. There was a spike in the market 2 years ago when everything went absolutely apeshit. Easy to get pieces became difficult to get, and difficult to get pieces became extremely difficult. That's the way it was. Everything just went a little nuts. But we're back to normal now. That's all it is. We came off that crazy spike. Who knows what caused it? Was it crypto? Was it COVID? God knows what. But it was an anomaly. It was strange. It was out of character.
Okay.
You know, the rules are pretty much back to where they were. Certain pieces are hard to get, trade over retail. Certain other pieces, not so much. So let's go through those, and I'll tell you the way things were. Maybe you're not into watches that long, and you think that that's the way watches were always trading. They weren't. It was just a small window, and now we're back to the regular rules. So let me go through those regular rules for you guys. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm your host, Oisinomalley. What's on the wrist tonight? It's the root beer. Isn't she lovely? For the longest time, this watch was like 13,000 from the AD and about 13,514 on the grey market. During the spike, everything went apeshit. This thing hit 30,000, but that's not to be factored in, I don't think. And people who do factor it in should be considered suspect. I've been saying this now for quite some time. They're after your clicks, guys. That's what they've been doing. Now the thing is, what is it? 17 or 18 from the authorized dealer, and around the same on the grey market. So it's way more expensive than it used to be. But I want to go through the watches that are weightless watches, watches that trade higher, and watches that don't trade higher at all, that trade a lot lower in the market, that you should probably say no to if offered at the AD. So let's go through them one by one. Here we go.
The Submariner.
Listen, a stainless steel sub is still a hot commodity, be it date, no date, Starbucks, whatever it is. They all trade higher on the grey market. They're all waitlist items. You will not be offered one walking in cold to some authorized dealer you've never seen before, spoken to before, or purchased anything, and you walk in and go, hey, I'd like a stainless steel no date sub. They're going to look at you and go, have you lost your mind? You simply can't go wrong with a stainless steel Submariner. It's still a very popular watch. And yeah, if you're offered one at the AD, take it.
Two-tone sub.
Two-tone is trading now under. So if you're offered a bluesy, you might want to take it from your AD because you have other things in mind. You're trying to work your way up the purchase history kind of thing. And you're happy to buy a bluesy in the meantime and wear it and enjoy it and so on. But you're going to get a way better deal on the grey market. That's where two-tone subs are at the moment. And it's nothing unusual. That's the way they've been for centuries.
Solid gold sub.
Solid gold is way, way under retail. Be it the blue dial or the black or the white with the blue bezel. So you should say that to your AD and say, listen, either you give me a fat discount. I don't mind paying more than the grey market, but only a little more, not, 7, 8, 10,000 more. They'll probably be happy to sell it to you anyway. They're very accustomed to selling solid gold pieces at a discount. That's something that they've been doing for a very long time. Again, it was only 2 years ago during the spike that they didn't have to do that.
The Ywn Master 2.
The GMTs are still very, very hot items in stainless steel. the Batman, the Pepsi, the new Bruce Wayne, and so on. If you're offered one at the AD, you should totally take it, especially the Pepsi. That's still trading almost a double retail. Let's get this straight here, guys. Any product that even holds its value, doesn't even make any money at all, not even $50, but holds its value, is a super rare thing. You know, you buy a car or you buy clothes or furniture. There's so many things you could buy in the world that depreciate immediately. It's just a given. There are very few things in this world that are worth the same or more. And watches, even if they just hold their value or most of their value, are incredible assets. The fact that a GMT Pepsi goes for nearly double still after the apparent crash and the watch market is dead and all that clickbait horseshit, it's amazing. So if you're offered a Pepsi on the Jubilee or on the Oyster, it doesn't really matter, at the authorized dealer, absolutely take it. And that goes for all the other stainless steel, the new Bruce Wayne, the Batman, of course, the Sprite. It's across the board. Take a stainless steel GMT Master 2. Do not think about it. And do not listen to these YouTubers, please.
Two-tone GMT.
If the subs are like authorized dealer price, retail price, and a little less, the GMTs are around there and a little more. So this, of course, is the root beer. You'll get the root beer on the grey market around about the same price or a little more depending on condition. Maybe you're looking at 500 or 1,000 more. Now, if the AD offer it to you, why not just take it from the AD? It's brand new. It's got your name on the card. It's got the full warranty. There's no reason to go down the street and look for a better deal from grey market because you're not going to get it. But if your authorized dealer says, listen, we'll put you on the list and it could be a year or whatever, then fuck it, like just go to the grey market. A lot of people write to me all the time and say they never ever got the call. You know, we always hear from the people who got the call, but for every one of those, there's like 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 other guys who never got the call. So don't let that deceive you. With the solid gold pieces, you're looking at the same with the subs. They're going for a lot less. If you're offered the solid gold version of this, which is also a true beauty, you can expect a fat discount. If they're not going to offer you a discount, I don't know, you stand to save at least 7-8 grand by going down the street to the grey market dealer if he has one. You know, the solid gold Guinness, which is a stunning watch, or the root beer in solid gold, beautiful, but they simply are not fetching that above market price on the grey market, and that's been always the case with precious metal. Dayjusts are odd because they vary a lot. You know, for the longest time, there were certain Dayjusts that were easy to get, and then some that were not so easy to get. And during the spike, they were all not easy to get. And now it's come back down to earth again. If you want a grey or black Dayjust 41 with smooth bezel on the Oyster, you might be lucky enough to just walk out of the store with one. With no spend history. However, if you want the mint green dial with the fluted bezel and the Jubilee or the blue dial or whatever, that's going to be a little harder. And there are a lot of people ahead of you on that line. You know, the Dayjusts are kind of under the surface and over the surface and everything in between. So it really is a case by case thing. Depends which one you want. If you're after that blue dial or green dial, you will be put on a wait list. Maybe you want to pay the extra on the grey market and just have it now, move on with your life, and that's fine. No one can blame you for that.
The Explorer.
The Explorer is still a very sought after watch, be it 36mm or 40mm, doesn't matter. People love it. It's a very modestly priced Rolex, and it's a stainless steel piece, a tool watch. They don't trade for a whole lot less on the grey market. So if you're offered one at the AD, just go ahead and grab it, because going down the street to the grey market guy is not, you're not going to save any money. He'll want the same or maybe a tiny bit more. The two-tone one, you can get at a lot less on the grey market. That was not a success in the end, and we all know why. It's the ultimate tool watch, the Explorer. They had no business making a two-tone version at all. So I would say no if you're offered one of those at the authorized dealer.
The Explorer 2.
You know, for years that was kind of the dog of the catalog. I turned down a lot of black dial Explorer 2's the 42mm version back in 2019, 2020. It just wasn't for me. Of course, I've grown to love it, and I have the white dial, and I made a big video about it, how it's one of the great Rolex watches. It really is a fan favorite for a lot of people, but it was never fetching that crazy money on the grey market, apart from during the spike of 2 years ago. You can get one now at about retail or less. Now, there's the 226 model and the 216. I have the 216. Slightly slimmer bracelet and a few details in there, but basically the same watch. And if you're happy to take the 216, the previous iteration, which almost looks identical, then you stand to save a lot of money. If you're offered it at the AD, the 226, the latest iteration, I think it's worth grabbing. You're not going to save a whole lot of money going to the grey market for that watch.
Daytona.
All Daytonas are hard to get, even two-tone. Now, two-tone for a while was trading way above retail, which was for the first time in history. If you're happy enough to get an older two-tone Daytona, maybe from the 90s or the early 90s, you can save a lot of money. If you want the brand new thing on the grey market, you're gonna have to pay some more. So if you're offered one at the AD, you should take it still, even though two-tone is, there's a lot of questions around two-tone, whether people like two-tone or not. The stainless steel, absolutely, just take it. Like, if they offer you a stainless steel Daytona, just take it. I mean, they were trading at 4 times retail. Those days are gone. But now they're trading at double retail. What, are you going to complain about that? Give me a break. And even with the precious metal, this is an exemption from the entire catalog. In most cases, the precious metals, GMTs, the subs, etc., are going for less on the grey market. You might want to consider saying no at the AD or asking for a big discount. Not really the case with Daytonas. They're still so rare. If you're offered a Platona, for example, a platinum Daytona, it's a very expensive watch, but they trade for more on the market. You can't lose a dime on those. If you're offered a Le Mans, for example, you stand to make shitloads of money if you want to get out of that watch. Those things cost like 50, 60,000, and you can sell one for $250,000. It's fucking crazy. And even with the solid golds, rose, yellow, white, whatever, Daytonas are just gold dust. They're an exception. So if you're offered any Daytona whatsoever from the authorized dealer, just take it, for crying out loud.
The Air King.
Air King is going for around retail. It was a kind of a hot item when they re-released it and reformed it a bit. It's a great watch. It's stainless steel, Rolex elegance. It's lovely. We love it. We're all fans of the Air King. If you're offered it at the AD, I would say yes, if that's the watch you like. If you're a flipper and you're watching this video and you think you can take it and run down the street and make yourself an easy $500, that's not going to happen. However, if they tell you that they're going to put you on a list and it could be 6 months to wait or a year to wait or something like that, just go down the street and buy it from the grey. You'll get it for the same price, probably brand new, never worn, and you can stick it on your wrist and move on with your life. Highly recommended.
The Ywn Master 40.
Early 2019, I got the Ywn Master 40 Rhodium, and I got it at a €500 discount. Can you believe it? That wouldn't happen today. Even despite the market coming back to where it was, it's still not quite where it was. And the Ywn Master has become a more and more recognized watch, especially the Rhodium dial one. Maybe I have something to do with that. I don't know. The retail price of the watch has come up quite a bit, and the market price has followed. I don't think there's a whole lot of money to be saved on the Ywn Master 40 Rhodium or blue dial. If you're offered it at the authorized dealer, I think you should take it.
Two-tone Ywn Master 40.
There was a time where people couldn't get their hands on this, and they were looking for that rose gold and steel thing, and these things were going for 30,000. So they were moving over. They were looking to the Ywn Master two-tone, which has rose gold and a chocolate dial or black dial. And for a hot second, that watch was quite in demand. It was trading a lot over retail. That is no longer the case. So if you want to get your hands on one of those, you can get them at a better deal on the grey market. If you're offered one at the AD, I'd ask for a discount. If they say no, you say no. However, there is the Ywn Master in titanium. If you're offered one of those, jump on it immediately. Those things are super rare. They're unicorns. They trade for way more money. So if you're offered one, don't hesitate.
Sea Dweller.
That's a watch I think I would turn down at the authorized dealer unless they offered me a fat discount. You can get a way better deal on the grey market with a Sea Dweller. Be it the two-tone or the stainless steel one with the red writing, there's a better deal to be found down the street. This is one of my favorite watches in the entire Rolex catalog, but it trades under retail. It'll never be as popular as a Submariner in stainless steel.
The DayDate.
There is no stainless steel DayDate. It's only yellow gold, rose gold, white gold, or platinum. So how does it work with those? Well, the truth is a lot of them are very difficult to get. It's hard to be assigned one, so they're kind of very sought after. It's kind of a case-by-case situation. There are certain rare dials, like the jigsaw dial, the autism as people call it, and various others that are just much more sought after than others. If you just want a yellow gold DayDate with a black dial, you might get a way better deal on the grey market. So if you're offered one at the AD, shop around before you commit to that, because I think you're going to get a way better deal.
The Sky Dweller.
Same with the Sky Dweller. It's case by case. If you're okay with a black dial on the Oyster bracelet, you can get a better deal on the grey market. But if you want that green, the mint green, or you want that solid rose gold one with the teal blue dial, that thing is stunning. Those trade way more and they're very, very rare. So it's case by case again. These are watches you want to snatch up if they're offered to you at the authorized dealer. If you're happy with a white dial one or a black dial one on the Oyster, then you'll probably get a better deal on the grey.
The Oyster Perpetual.
The colored dials are still very, very sought after. It's a case-by-case thing. That Tiffany was going for 5, 6 times, maybe 7, 8 times retail on the market. Meanwhile, its equivalent with the silver dial was going for around retail or a little over retail. So it depends which one you're offered. If you're offered a celebration dial, for example, you should absolutely grab it because those things go for 4 times retail even now. So it depends on which one. You might want to say no to a black dial one or a silver dial one. But if you're offered any of the colored dials, you know, yellow, red, whatever is still in the catalog, I can't even keep track anymore. You probably want to grab it.
Alrighty then.
So that's it, guys. We're just back to where we were before. Watches are, once again, for enthusiasts and wealthy people who want to flex and so on and so forth. It was just a little bit of a small window where people who had no interest in watches at all were getting into the watch game because they thought they were investments or they were easy to flip or whatever. And they were for a very short amount of time. Those days are now gone, and now we're back to enthusiasts and people who want to spend way too much money on a timepiece that isn't even as accurate as their cell phone. That's all. Don't believe all of that nonsense you see all over YouTube. They're just trying to scare you and get you to click on their video. Okay? Good talk. See you in the next one, guys. Peace and love always.